lighting, because this time of day is always the worst to light. The lights always change. You know, it is what it is. But what's up, everyone? Hello, welcome, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good time, good days. How's everybody doing today? I hate this blotchy light through my shades. Always annoys me so much. I can't stand it. Really early. Well, if I can talk, it's pretty early. I normally don't get on this early to stream, so turn down the music. Too much music. Too much music, not enough voice. Let me see if I can turn my gain up a little bit too. Hello, hello, check, 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 check. That might help some. It might be too loud, but we'll leave it about there. That should be good. Music's down, my voice is up. I wish there was like a master volume. As an audio engineer, that would be like the best for me. What is going on? Okay, my internet is just not. Chrome is like not loading correctly. I don't understand. But hello, good morning. I have a wedding that I need to cull, so we're gonna be doing some culling today. This is a wedding I just did out at the beach. So these are some of the photos I've edited already, but yeah. I think I'm gonna jump into a good old photo mechanic. And get some culling in. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing this morning? Let's see. Weddings. Rachel and Charles. Select. I was by myself, so there's no second photographer this time around. And we want to sort it by capture time. Gathering sort info. I've never seen Photo Mechanic do this before. Here we go. Cool. This should be like a super straightforward wedding to cull. Because really, it was just like a short, small little wedding, basically at the beach. They planned it kind of last minute. They had to change the date and stuff, so yeah, it should be very straightforward. The main thing here is I need to make sure I don't overcull or anything. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I don't want to overcull this, so try and take my time while I cull it a little bit more than I usually do. So you use the regular photo mechanic or the plus version? I think this is just the normal version. I'm not 100% sure. My chat's still not working. So is the worst. Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. Good morning, good evening, good day. I'm just culling through some photos real quick. So for this shot, because I didn't have anything to put the flat lay stuff on, I actually pulled like shades off of the window. Like I straight up took them off and used it as like the backdrop. It's a little wrinkled, but it's better than just the floor. Which lens have I used? So this is my typical wedding setup. So I have the 23 f2, the 35 f2, the 50 f1. Yes, the 50 has become kind of a regular and almost has replaced the 56. I'm thinking about getting rid of the 56. And I had the 16, which I don't even think I used at all. Yeah, music's back because I'm on the PC side this time. I'm not on Mac OS. This is the 50 f1 with an extension tube on it to kind of get that macro. Good old North Carolina. Hey John, how many more upcoming weddings do you have this year? I think just one. I'm pretty much done for the year now. Let me see if I can figure out why my chat is not working. But yeah, I have something coming up in like a week or so that's also out at the beach. And after that, I had a wedding in December, but they're rescheduling. So yeah, that's it. I'm pretty much not back on weddings until March. My internet hates me. Weird. But I am. Oh, there goes the chat. Dang, look at it just. Thank you for that sub. Let's see if we can. Let's center that up a little bit better. There we go. So yeah, I'm trying to set up for you all. I'm really trying, so we'll see if it happens. But I want to do a full wedding day behind the scenes using 2 GFX 100s. And I'm in the process of trying to set that up because obviously I don't own GFX 100s and those cameras are pretty expensive, so we'll see if I can pull it off. Thank you for that sub. Oh, it's still not centered. Right there. So I ran into this was my little fail moment of the actual the wedding day. So pretty much I chose this room based off of only the actual light for it and everything, and the fact that it was clean. But this green in the background is pretty bad. Like it's horrible. So yeah, this was kind of a fail on my side. I should have picked a different room. Tweet at Fujifilm to make it happen. I mean, I'm an ambassador now, so I have the inside. So it's more so just like seeing if I can make it work. The green paint really messed with the white paint. Exactly, yeah. I should have picked a different room. I don't know why I chose this room. I was like, oh, this room's great. The light's awesome. Let's do it. And then I was in there shooting and I was like, ooh. I was like, this doesn't look good. These were her shoes because it was on the beach, so she pretty much just like wore those little things and was barefoot all day, which was pretty cool. So random shot I caught. Obviously it's not a perfect shot, but luckily I had my 16 on, so it ended up working. I'm from Vietnam. I really love your wedding images. Thank you so much. Any opinion on a Canon 70D for weddings? I have not used it, but I've heard it's a decent camera. So again, a lot of times it's hard for me when I haven't used something. I can't really have too many opinions on it, because for me, a lot of times things are more about how they actually work in things. What kind of website creating for a new setup? To recreate a new website? So I use Squarespace. I love Squarespace. I'm sure y'all have seen the videos sponsored by Squarespace. I also used to work at Squarespace. So I'm pretty big on Squarespace overall. And it's probably like my favorite. This is all the 50 f1. Lens is so good. Hey John, is the wedding market, how is the wedding market so far? Has COVID affected business much for you? It has. I didn't have a lot of cancellations, but I had a bunch of reschedules. So my 2021 is basically full, but it's all full of people who should have had their wedding this year. And I let them reschedule. So basically what happens is, like, I didn't charge them any extra money. So yeah. So my whole next year is basically like without weddings. Is there any noticeable difference between ISO and dynamic range performance between X-H1 and X-T4? That's another one I'm not sure of, because I've never used the X-H1. But if there is, yeah, the X-T4 might be the better choice. It's hard to say. I need to sync up my cameras a little bit better. They're like always so out of sync. Hey John, is the Fujifilm X-T30 a great camera for a first camera? And also, yes, I love the X-T30. I have one. And I think it's a great starting camera, especially for its price. It's small, it's capable, it takes the same lenses. You know, you can use all the X mount lenses. Oh, that lighting was so bad. You see that? You can like literally see the cloud rolling through. It's the worst. The absolute worst. But yeah, the X-T3 is nice. And then all you got to do is get good glass on it, and it's great. For wedding is worth 16,218. Okay, so recently I rented out all the fastest lenses, so the 16-1.4, the 23-1.4, the 35-1.4, and then obviously I already have the 50-1.4 or the 51. So after using them, the 16-1.4 is definitely way better than the 2.8. I own the 2.8, and yeah, the 16-1.4 was like, yo, it was so good. As far as the rest of them, it's negligible in my opinion. The 23-1.4 is pretty cool. I like my 35 f2. I don't like the 35 1.4 is like that super old, just like, you know, where the focus thing comes out. I don't know. I don't like it. So I'm a big fan of the 35 f2 versus the 1.4. Did you get your hands on an XS10? It's the hardest camera to say. I haven't actually. I want to use it. I haven't had a chance to use it, so. Oh, it was so sunny, so bad. And there's like nothing I can do, but that's why I hate beach weddings. There's no middle ground. It's either like clear and it's the worst, or it's like cloudy and it's the best, or you shoot like first thing in the morning. Hello from Thailand. We got Thailand, Germany in the house, India in the house. By the way, John, I love your artwork, bro. Even a Nikon user. But the way you shoot on some moments in one scene, always go with burst shoot. Can select. Yeah, I tend to overshoot just because it gives me more options of what to select. Like I would like this whole like walking scene, like that's a lot. That's a lot of photos. But I would rather, especially with walking, I'm very picky about the stride. And usually I want, like, I love that there. Like that half step, you just finished, your legs are bent. It really shows the motion. So I'll just like overshoot. I don't like straight legs like that. I don't know. The full stride looks weird to me. The middle step like that looks nicer. Where the feet are kind of being picked up off the floor. I'm a big fan. Good morning from Seattle. Oh, it's early, yo. I appreciate your videos on how to start photography business. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm glad they're helping out. How do you handle photos with bright highlights on one side of the face and dark shadows on the other side? I try my best to have people facing the light, but obviously sometimes you can't always be in a great spot for that. Because you can even see it here, you know, like the bride is in the light, the groom is more in the shadows, but you just kind of make sure you're aware of where the lighting is and try and either keep both people in the shade or in the light. So that's why, so the sun is to the right here behind us. So when I did a walking shot, instead of putting it behind them, I put it here so they're walking in front of it. Now, obviously you're going to get people squinting and all that kind of stuff, but that's why I had them looking at each other mainly. So it's not like the sun blasting their face out the whole time. And then I can just deal with them being like fully lit, and I can deal with the sun that way rather than having them in shadow and having to fight the light and all that kind of stuff. We got Malaysia in the house. I heard that someone shooted a whole wedding with an X100F. What do you think about that? I think it's totally possible. The X100F and V, they're really great cameras. And that's basically like shooting like a 23mm lens, which is like a 35. I tend to use that the most during the day anyway. Like this is all on a 23. So being able to shoot a whole wedding like that, I think is very possible. You just also have to be cool with shooting wide. Like if you want nice, tight telephoto like portraits, you're not going to get that. But you know, you can work with wide shots. There's nothing wrong with it. This is going to be a GIF. So I'll have to combine all that. This is all with the 50 f1. I probably stopped down a little bit. Yeah, I stopped down to f2. Having a hard time justifying upgrading for the 56 to the 50 with the weight and all. If I don't have that many focusing issues with the 56, should I upgrade? It is really, it's the thinnest line and the hardest choice to make. Like the hardest choice, because so far from using it, I absolutely love the 50 f1. It has grown on me, and while there is extra weight, I don't mind it as much, because again, this is me shooting all of it at 50. I have it stopped down to f2, but the difference between the two lenses, it's hard to say. Like it really is hard to say. The focusing is definitely better on the 50 f1 though, I'll say that much. If you could only save one of your cameras and two lenses, what would it be? Definitely, so the XT3 and the 23 f2 and probably the 50. Like I could do everything I needed to with those two lenses. I still do love my 35 f2. Like if I had to have just the 23 and the 35 f2, I'd be good with it. I would be totally good with it. And thank you for the sub. I thought I moved where my sub thing was. Here's the ceremony. They did it late in the day, so the high tide was coming in and literally almost sucked them into the ocean. In this photo, do you use film simulation? So all the stuff you're seeing now is the straight out of camera stuff, and this was with Classic Chrome is usually my go-to. I barely caught these. They started the ceremony out of nowhere. And this is what I was saying about backlighting. Like editing this is the worst. And you see how I had to like totally blow out the background? Like I don't like to backlight if I don't have to. What is done? Oh, don't play that. Yo, what is iTunes is hating. Yo, what is wrong with my internet? Well, we might be back to no music, y'all. Seems like the theme for my streams. How do you focus with group shots? I basically just focus on the center people, and then I stop down a little bit. Oh, this was the worst. Yeah, they started the ceremony out of nowhere. I think I can save this photo. So it was like me and the videographer for trying to figure out something for the live stream. And then all of a sudden, like, everyone started coming and we were like, oh no. So I like barely had a chance to adjust my settings. If you had to choose one lens to shoot during a wedding, which would it be? I probably would go with like the 23f2. I feel like you can handle a whole day with that and be just fine. Yeah, these are going to be rough to edit. All this shadow everywhere. Oh no. Beach weddings. Does anyone have a YouTube photography channel? Nice. Yeah, Omar is awesome. Do you have any interest in the upcoming 1814? I do. That sounds like it's going to be an awesome lens as well. Okay, let's restart iTunes because iTunes is over here hating. Hey John, how is your Holdfast Moneymaker holding up? RL Handcrafts has some harnesses and trying to decide between the two. So I've had the greatest experience with Holdfast, and it's been working basically fine forever. I've had no issues whatsoever. I'll show y'all real quick once I see what happened to my music, which it looks like it just doesn't want to work. Can't get on the internet, nothing's working. Some reason I can stream, but that's about all I can do. Let me go grab my Holdfast real quick. Just to show y'all the proof. So here is my newer one that I've gotten recently. It's like the newer model, all the newer stuff. I've only really shot with this basically the end of last year and a little bit of this year. It hasn't gotten too much use. Pretty brand new still. Still looks good. Everything is like working. I don't know how well that looks on the screen. Holdfast Sightseer V2. Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious to trying it. And then my original Holdfast, which I've had for 6 years, and used it in like some of my heaviest wedding seasons, like 40 weddings in a year. This thing is still fine too. I taped up the back here because these little things got loose and they slide down, so then the backs come out. So I taped it so that wouldn't happen. But other than that, I mean, you see it's all stained up from all the sweat in the summer weddings and stuff. I need to like go through and try and like cure it up and put some leather balm on it or something. But other than that, it's good to go. So yeah, Holdfast, they hold up. Again, this is 6 years, and it's like it's good to go. It's all worn in and nice. I love Fujifilm so much. Shout out from Dubai. Thank you so much. Actually, how do you usually get along with your customers and their families? Make them feel comfortable with it. So my whole approach to wedding photography is mainly to try and fit in and be a part of the family. I approach weddings as if I'm attending them. These are all out of see. This is continuous autofocus, y'all. Missing the shots. This will still be fine as black and white, but so for me, it's like I talk about attending a wedding almost like a guest. and capturing it from a guest perspective. Like I'm actually attending it and I care about the wedding. And that's really my main approach to weddings. And when I do it like that, it makes everyone feel more comfortable, because instead of just being some dude who's like paid to be there and like doesn't want to be there and is just trying to get money, like I actually try to care. And I actually do care about my couples and, you know, their wedding day and how the day goes and their families and stuff. So by doing that, it just makes the whole situation much better, and I'm able to be very comfortable with everyone. And I vet my couples and meet with them to make sure that they're okay with that approach as well, because some people just want like the paid help to show up and take pictures. And if I get that vibe from the couple, I pretty much tell them that I'm not the photographer for them. Oh, his thing was for the whole shot. Because, yeah, generally you can tell how a couple's family is going to be based off of the couple. So if I meet with the couple and the couple is really cool and they're hospitable and they treat me like a person, not just like, oh, hey, I'm paying you, come to my wedding, then usually when I show up, the rest of their family also is very hospitable and fun. And, they like offer me drinks at the wedding and they make sure I ate and things like that. Like they just treat me like a person. And I also treat them like people, not just a paycheck. And then everyone's always very understanding. Like we weren't really able to take pictures out on the beach for the family photos because the light was just the worst. So I was able to do it in this little area, which still has like a very beach feel to it because of the trees and stuff. But everyone's like, oh, we're at the beach, I want beach photos. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Thank you for that sub. We got the whole fan. So something I've noticed, and I don't know if my 23 is dirty or it needs to be serviced or something, but the ends of the photo, like the center will be sharp and the ends start getting like weird. And I don't know if my sensor is dirty or if it's the lens or what, but like you can see it's soft on these edges out here. Can you link to the cameras, the dual camera strap? I can. Let me see if I can find my link real quick. Yo, what is with my internet? Wow, I can't even get it. I can't go nowhere. I don't understand. I also don't understand how I'm sitting here streaming and like, but I can't go anywhere on the internet. Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. Is my Wi-Fi on? Thanks for the sub. I don't know what's happening here. No idea. Turn the Wi-Fi on. Maybe that'll help. Nope. Do you service your Fujifilm gear through a third party or directly? I have not serviced my stuff at all yet, but if and when I do, I will be doing it through Fujifilm directly. What up, bro? It's Ben. Hello. I hope everything is well with you. Thank you for that sub. I wanted music, but all my internet just gave out. And unfortunately, I don't want to mess with it too much, because if I do, then I could lose my whole stream. Not sure if it has a link, but the harness is hold fast money making. Yeah, I do have a link, but for some reason the internet's not working, so I can't even get to my links and stuff. Like, I literally can't go to any websites right now. I run into the same problem with the XT2 when I used it. Yo, so I never made a video about it, but the XT2 and the 23F2, it would like miss focus. Just bear it. And Lewis probably, if he's saying it, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. It misses the focus just barely, so that you're looking at your photos and you're like, wait, did I get focus? Or it like focuses behind the subject, just the tiniest bit. And I only noticed it on the XT2. Like on the XT3 it was fine. So like it was just weird. I don't understand what it was. So here goes the solo shots. At every wedding, I always make it a point to take solo shots of both the bride and the groom. And these are just a couple quick, like, just photos, you know, of them by themselves. Family always loves to have, you know, their son or daughter or whoever. Just a single picture of them by themselves. Hope you turn on subtitles for this video. Yeah, I make it a point to try and really put in, focus on me, I'm right here. Hello. To try and put subtitles in on most of my videos. The live streams are a little bit hard to put subtitles on because they're so long. Focusing on this at F1. Look at the fall off on the bokeh. Yeah, I'm hurt. I love music. I don't understand why I'm getting no internet. I like literally can't go to websites right now. Hi John, what are your thoughts on the X100V? I have not tried it, but they look like really cool cameras. I want to get the X100F or whichever the newer one is. I can't remember, but I really want to get one. Ah man, he dipped out of focus. Restart everything. I don't want to. I don't want to mess with my stream. I hate like messing with a stream like in the middle of the stream. This was a drone shot. So I took my Mavic Air 2 and I flew it because I couldn't stand where this was. I wanted to get a big, wide, symmetrical shot. Hey John, is there a particular reason you use the 23F2 over the 1.4? Mainly because it's cheap. It's much cheaper. So that's just what I used recently, and I just finished up a video which should be coming out like next week or soon, where I rented all the faster lenses. So I did a session with the 23 f1.4 and the 16 f1.4, and I really like the 16 f1.4. The 23 was okay, like it wasn't changing my life. To not have it or whatever. Like F2 is fine, but on the 16 1.4 it made a big difference. So this is kind of cocktail hour. Everyone's just kind of hanging out. I'm just kind of spying on people, taking photos with the 50 f1. Some of the details of the reception. Nothing serious. Again, this was just a small wedding. And that's kind of how weddings are nowadays. They're just going to be small little events, 20, 30 people at most. So again, for couples who like, you know, had a bad experience with their venue or their photographer and didn't get their money back or something of that sort, all you new photographers who want to get into weddings, this is a great time to be able to do that. Because you can offer them lower prices and they're easier weddings because they're not as involved. Question for work setup. Still editing with iMac or Hackintosh? I think I remember last video you built a Hackintosh. Is it good? Yeah. So I do have a Hackintosh, and that's what this is. So what I just recently got a QNAP, and I think I'm gonna try and put my Lightroom catalogs on there, because what happened, the reason you see me bouncing between Windows and Mac all the time is because Windows is where I have the majority of my actual Lightroom catalog, but then I started using some on Mac, so I have like 2 different catalogs. And you know, I try not to do that. I would like to just have one that I could work on with whatever system, but for me, you know, it's kind of whatever, Windows or Mac, I don't care. Mac is easier for me to be more productive on, mainly too because so I got rid of all my gaming systems, so I game now on PC. So you know, it's easy for me to be sitting here like culling, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, hold on, let me pull up Steam and let me jump on Apex Legends real quick. You know what I mean? Like, and then like stop working. Or when I want to take a break, I can just be like, okay, hold up, and let me game real quick. Whereas on the Mac side, I can't do that. Also, the email program that I use is Mac only, so I'm just more productive on the Mac side of things. Also, Final Cut's on there, so I can, you know, I do all my YouTube video editing and stuff that way. So yes, it's a Hackintosh dual boot. I'd like to get to a point. I just recently did open core, so my hack is much more stable. So I'd love to get to a point where I can just do the majority of my work on the Hackintosh and then use Windows for literally just gaming. Okay, so this is the end of the night. Get our cake cut in. And that's it. There it is. We culled it. We culled the whole wedding. Same, bro. A Mac setup has saved me a lot of lollygagging. Yeah, exactly. So again, I love my Hackintosh. I love it. I love being able to go back and forth between Windows and PC, but when I need to actually just get work done, Mac is much better, in my opinion. You can do both on either or. Like, one's not really better than the other, but metadata. Read metadata from files. Read. Okay, so can someone explain to me how I'm streaming, but for some reason I can't go to any websites? How does that make any sense whatsoever? Like, how? I don't understand. I really don't. Any website I try and go to, it's saying the site can't be reached, but yet I'm still online streaming. Go to Twitch. Man, I've tried to do Twitch before. Like, when I started doing photography online stuff and streaming, I would do these streams where I like get online and edit. I did that on Twitch at first, and like no one was watching, and I was like chilling by myself, you know, editing nothing. Port issue with your network. Interesting. I listened to a Nikon ambassador who did 8-9K shots a wedding. Woo! That's a lot. On a normal wedding day for me, you can kind of see it in here. Like, I'm shooting like maybe 4,000 to 5,000, and that's between my two cameras. Maybe 6 to 7. It's rare I get up that far. Like, yeah. So this wedding here, which is my full wedding day. I mean, first off, this was a 10-hour day. It's 8,000 photos, but that's me with two cameras and my second photographer. In total, it's 8. So I probably shot like 7, and then my second shot another 1,000 or something. So yeah, 8,000 to 9,000 photos. That's insanity. Like, I don't even know what you're shooting at that point. Like, it just sounds like you're just taking pictures just to take them. I like it so much more than YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do Twitch. And I mean, when people think of Twitch, they think of gaming mainly. So when you have like photographers on there editing, like most of the people aren't really trying to see that. There's a market for it on there, but you have to grind so hard and stream so long and so often for people to even notice. It's too much. Stop motion wedding video. That's true. If you're making GIFs all the time, it makes sense for you to have that many photos. So are you on Windows or Mac? I'm on both. Right now, this is Windows, but I use both. I do all my productivity, my video editing. I do all that on Mac. Windows, honestly, the only reason I really still have it is because, you know, with a Hackintosh, the Mac side of it's not technically supported by anyone. So I kept all my paid photography work on the Windows side. So that if something happens to my computer, you know, my legitimate work, which I get paid for, is on something that can be supported and I can get support for it. Like, I would hate to have all my photos on the Hackintosh side and then something go wrong with it. And then, you know, be like, whoop, I lost everyone's photos because I was on a Hackintosh, which is not really supposed to be done. Great job. You know, like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, that's the only reason I use Windows, really. In all honesty, I like Windows 10, but at this point, now that my hack is more stable since I did it with Open Core, I'm moving more and more to using the Mac more often. And then Windows would just be for gaming. Coffee! It's so good. I'm not a wedding photographer, but I enjoy watching your BTS of a wedding day. Awesome, thank you. So did iTunes explode? No, right now it's the internet. iTunes was working. We had music, and then iTunes just decided it was going to stop. Or more so, the internet decided it was going to stop. And it was like, yeah, no, sorry. Now I can't get on any websites. I can't do anything. Nothing works. So because this playlist isn't local, so yeah, if the playlist was local, it would actually work. So what I should have done is should have downloaded it, really. That's the moral of the story. I should be downloading my playlist, not just like playing them here. I wonder if I could I wish there was a way that I could like stream music from like my phone or something. It doesn't make, I know, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm literally on the internet streaming. See, like, look, this is what I get. Like, it just literally, it won't load websites. For Hackintosh, what monitor do you suggest? Because some editors said that a monitor have IPS 9100 correction still can get a matte color. I'm not sure, but I use BenQ monitors, and I really like my BenQ monitors a lot. And now that I've used a couple more BenQ monitors, I'm kind of sold on the company. Like, I like their stuff a lot. Temporary glitch. Yeah, I don't understand because it always used to work. I mean, I could always restart my thing real quick and then see what happens. I don't think the browser would matter, but I'm also on Windows, so there's really, I mean, I guess I could Firefox or something. Yep, the whole thing is just done. How many images do you deliver on average? So generally average on an 8-hour day. So I quote my couple 650, but it tends to be around like 1,000 or so. This particular wedding obviously is a shorter wedding, and that's kind of the theme now of weddings. This year weddings have been like 6 hours on the max, you know, maybe 30 people. So I've been delivering about 300 to 500 photos recently. Have you turned it off and on again? Why not just play music on your phone and your mic will pick it up? It doesn't sound good. But I am gonna do that because I love music. What mic are you using to stream right now? I have a blue Yeti mic, the white version, just off screen. Look at that. Look at that framing. I'm using my X-T3 and a 35F2 right now, so I can get this nice kind of close with a little bit of background blur in there. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can find my playlist. My safe for YouTube playlist. Dun, 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 dun. Where are you? Uh-oh. Is it not synced up to my thing? Oh, there it goes. Okay, I can hear it now. Y'all probably can't really hear it, but it's fine. And or you hear it and it sounds trash. How have you adjusted your pricing for the short weddings? My 2-hour events are near 1K, but weddings kind of cap out. I've pretty much just kept the pricing about the same, even if it's, you know, only a couple of hours. Like, I base most of my stuff off of hours. So pretty much, when it's like a short wedding, it's like 3 or 4 hours, I only basically charge them for 3 or 4 hours. So I've recently raised my, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna leave it over here so I can hear it. But yeah, I pretty much just price everything about the same. I recently raised all my prices. So yeah, if they're having a short wedding, they just sit in the same range, and that's what it is. But yeah, pricing is pretty straightforward. You can still hear it. I'm just gonna leave it in the background there. What's the new non-Fuji lens you'd like to try? I don't know. I really like pushed myself into the Fuji realm, and that's like before I became an ambassador. So I was already in there so heavily. So now it's like I just only know Fuji. And because I'm an ambassador, now I have more of a reason not to use anything else. So earlier someone asked how many photos I just called. It looks like it's just around 300. Have you used Photo Mechanic? Yeah, that's what I just called all this with. You can see it back here. So what I'm doing now is syncing back all the metadata into Lightroom, which it looks like it just finished. So yeah, 299 photos from this little 6-hour wedding. And some of this stuff will probably get culled down a little bit too. That's what tends to happen. I over cull and then basically I have to cull down from there. I'm new and I'm hooked. About to do my 8th wedding end of November. Awesome. I just know I'm gonna learn some. I'm glad you're enjoying this stuff. What's Photo Mechanic? Photo Mechanic is a program for culling your images or selecting them, and it's much faster than it would be in Lightroom. So if you don't use Photo Mechanic, I would definitely suggest getting it. It is a great program for culling. So here goes my typical editing, right? I edit in scenes. So I find the first photo that I'm gonna use, and then I will select all the other photos in the same scene, and then we will sync the settings, and then I go back and check all the rest of them to make sure they're fine. I had a chance to mess around with a Viltrox lens. I've heard the Viltrox stuff is pretty good. I haven't used any, so I don't really have any personal opinions on them. Let me sync that again. Do you have to pay for Photo Mechanic? Yes, you do. It does cost money. I can't remember how much. I would be hitting y'all off with links, but you know, the internet hates me right now. If y'all don't use the quick develop, y'all need to get on that. Because see, all these photos selected, I can just go exposure and it'll expose all of them. Knock the temperature back a bit. And then yeah, they're all pretty much, or the whole matching total exposures. It's so good. Need a second with you one day. How do I get on the list? I mean, first I have to have weddings. That's the real. Also, too, I tend to shoot weddings by myself. The only time I ever have a second is if the couple pays for it, basically. Get that 7 artisans. I've heard some good stuff about that, too. 56 or, oh, I have the R. I don't know the advantage of the APD. So that is not a good question for me. Get Photo Mechanic and JPEG Mini on Black Friday. Yes. Get it. Get both of them. See, I'd be rocking with JPEG Mini all day. Every day. JPEG Mini is the way. I love the quick develop. It's so good. It is the best. Especially when you know you have a scene of photos that are basically all the same. You don't even have to go into develop. It's so good. Are you getting into the new consoles? No, I'm just going to stick with PC. I don't have enough time to game anymore, unfortunately. Between 3 kids and a wife and wedding photography, I don't have time. I wish I did. So for me, I can game on my PC because I can justify upgrading my PC enough that it's good, because, you know, it's a business expense. Like, I have to have a good computer. Like, I actually need it. Here's a shot of the moon I took on my 50 F1 at F1. Why would I do that? Look how soft it is. I think I took one where I stopped down too, but teach me your Jedi ways. Oh, Lightroom, how did you think that was good? I don't even. White balance. JPEG Mini is basically a program that makes your photos as small as possible, your JPEGs, without losing quality of the photo. And it's a great way to save space. Thoughts on the new color grading tab? So because it's close to split toning, I just don't see myself using it at all. It's pretty cool, and I think it could help out with white balance. Especially like I was having that white balance issue on that first photo. Like using the new color grading may have made it easier for me to get a better looking white balance. Let's try it. Let's reset this photo. Yeah, this is the worst lighting. So for me, something's off about this photo. Like I want it to be cooler, but I still want it to be warm. Where is it? See, I don't even have it open because I'm like, I don't even care about you. Yeah, it's like too green in certain areas. But yeah, I don't see myself seriously using it. It just like the way it changes stuff just doesn't. Yeah, I can't, y'all. Let's make it stop. I'm done. Greens, yeah, greens are the worst. I feel like I'm always fighting green. What shortcut to quick develop? There's no shortcuts. It's basically when you're in your library, not in develop. It's just a section here. You got to open it up. You'll see the little triangle beside it. And then there'll be more triangles with tone control and stuff. And yeah, you can just click these things and basically edit everything. It's a video editor friendly section. Yeah. My color grading in video is not great either. So it's the same kind of thing. Like, I'm not going to use it like that. This was at ISO 1000, 50 f1, letting in all that light. There we go. There we go. White balance. Yeah. Yeah. John, are you shooting these raw or JPEG? Raw. I shoot raw. So for white balance, a lot of times I'll just shoot it auto white balance depending on the scene. Now, if everything starts looking too blue, then I'll set it to like, I'll set it to like shadow, not shadow, what is it? Shade or daylight or something. Basically something to help out with the white balance. But yeah, a lot of times I'll just keep auto white balance. Auto white balance is like fine. So this should sync across all of these photos, I'm hoping. I think I need more magenta though. Do you ever get frustrated when you have to stop for about an hour and come back to it? You're talking about like editing? Not really. I don't know if y'all saw the way I approach stuff as far as all my editing goes, but how I section off the wedding day into sections, which I'm not doing it right now because I'm just being lazy, but basically that helps me be able to like stop in the middle of editing and feel like I'm still at a good place in my edits. Thank you for that sub. So many subs. But yeah, basically being able to sort things by sections just really helps. Lives in 2 days. I know. I thought of it. I was like, I'm gonna stream again. I was like, yo, I just streamed last night. People are gonna be like, what is this? How do you deliver your galleries online? I use PicTime. I would show you, but I can't get on the internet for whatever reason. Hold on. I don't understand. I don't understand the problem. Okay, y'all gonna lose me for 2 seconds, but we're gonna do it anyway. Am I back? We're back. Uh-oh. Did I fix it? Well, my music's back at least. Is it back? Do 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 do. How do you connect your camera and your computer in order to film? Like see yourself on the computer. I'm using the Elgato Cam Link right now to be able to use my XT3. Oh yeah, I think I'm back. Let's go. Yeah, yeah. Can't make any more. Get some good rest. Thanks for hanging out for a moment. Good night. There. Music. Work. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry if I blew y'all's ears out. All right. We're back. We made it. Uh-oh. Did I lose it again? So earlier, someone was asking about the hold fast. You can check it out here. That's the hold fast money maker. That's the double strap I use. Would love to show an image I just did with your preset pack. I need to see, this is how y'all get me every time. I need to make another link for in Dropbox so y'all can send me your photos so I can edit your photos. How would you advise new photographers to market themselves with a few weddings in their portfolio? Basically, I don't like this. Yeah, it's like not warm enough or something. Basically, if you only have a couple of weddings in your portfolio, so first off, make sure you're curating your work and be like super picky about it. Like, one of the biggest things I learned when I first was doing photography, like when I first started, was to show what you want to shoot. So, you know, like if you want to shoot small elopement weddings on the side of a mountain, then make sure the only stuff on your website is like small elopement weddings with a mountain or whatever. Like, you have to show what you want to shoot, and then just lean into like the stuff that makes you as a photographer. So don't worry so much about the photos, because that's what will happen. People starting out to be like, oh, I don't have a portfolio. You don't need to show a lot of photos. Honestly, showing too many photos is like detrimental to your brand. You want to show the best of what you want to shoot and what you do shoot. So for example, like if you look at my website, Anson, this was out in Topsail. So on my website, right, I tend to shoot a lot of interracial or mixed race couples, and I actually like shooting mixed race couples. And I think one thing I do really well is handle the skin tones and make both skin tones look good, no matter, you know, what skin tones are in the scene. So because of that, when you first go to my site and all the rolling pictures you see, it's all mixed race couples for the most part. Because again, I'm showing what I want to shoot. I'm showing people, and people who are looking for that or like really enjoy that, or it's a question to them, because that happens a lot. There's couples where, you know, like one person's super dark skinned and one person's like extremely pale. So when they go to my site and they see that, that's the first thing they're gonna be like, oh snap, this dude can handle our differing skin tones. Because look, so that's like, show what you want to shoot. Like up front, your hero shots, your money shots need to be what you want to shoot. And if you only have one, that's fine. You don't need 50 different things. You come down here and I have a couple like featured weddings, and again, it's like some of the best stuff. And you see, again, most of it is a lot of mixed race couples. When you go to the wedding portfolio page, I try to not show too many weddings. I actually just added some more, but I think I'm gonna take another row off. I had it to about like 10 or 12 weddings, but you just want to keep it in a nice place, not too many weddings. And you want them to be up to the caliber you want. Again, you don't have to show everything. You don't. A portfolio on your website does not need to be all of your work. It doesn't. Curate your stuff and curate it hard. So that's the biggest way to market yourself. Be you and advertise you. And if you only have 4 weddings, take the best photos from those 4 weddings if they fit the style of what you want to do, and just lean into them and be cool with that. Okay, so now I can go through these photos and check them. Now that I've synced. A lot of times if I misfocus on a shot, but I think it's a good shot, I'll just black and white it. That's a very, very standard photographer thing to do. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with my internet before. I'm so happy to have my music back. I can't tell y'all, like, really. I haven't shot any weddings, but want to get into the industry. Sadly, not got responses from people in the industry. Yeah, that's one of the hardest things. And again, people always have this like mentality of like, oh, they're gonna take my business or something like that. And I don't know. I can't. I can't think like that. Oh no. Oh no, this is the worst white balance. Small glitch. Yeah, I changed something with my network adapter. And I guess that like fixed it. All these shots with the 23 are just like so off compared to the 50. Yep, network was jank. How did you fix the focusing issue on the XT2? I upgraded to the XT3. I was like, what is wrong with the XT2? And I just upgraded and I was like, oh wow. Yeah, I never really truly fixed it. I just kind of like dealt with it. Cause again, it was only just barely off. And it wasn't even that often. It was just like every now and then there'd be a shot and I'd be like, I was like, is this in focus? I can't tell. Another AF update for the XT3. Yeah, I haven't updated my XT3s yet. I need to go ahead and do it. I need to go ahead and test it out too. Since I have two SD3s, I'm thinking about just upgrading one and then seeing if there's like a big difference between them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Just realized my stream is behind. Yeah, I think there's like a ultra low latency mode or something. I wonder, can I change that? Well, no, you have to set it up at first. One of these days I'll turn it on. Na, 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 na. I can finally get on Streamlabs now, I guess. Uh-oh, am I still having issues? I don't understand. Oh no, I can't get on the internet again. I don't understand what the issue is. Is the 23F2 issue? Yes. I get them with large groups. The people on the ends would be a tad bit, but yeah, no, I don't know. I guess it's just the 23F2. I never noticed it though. Like I feel like I've never had that issue, and I just started seeing it recently. So I don't know what that is. I gotta look at it. I don't know if it's my lenses or what. Oh yeah, this isn't a lot of photos. I can even cull it down some. Oh yeah, this ain't bad at all. Great job. Why you not use Fujifilm simulation? I just like my own preset. I think it works well. I think it looks good. But yeah, I mean, I could shoot everything in JPEG and then just call it a day. Use all the Fujifilm simulations and just be like, yep, there it is. Is this the 35? Yeah, so we'll use this for the base for the rest of it. I'm enjoying this. You are too chilled. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So let's select all the rest of the detail shots. And we should be able to sync it over. Well, as far as like adjusting the JPEGs too, have y'all used the Fuji RAW converter? That thing is dope. It's the program's kind of wonky. It's like hard to use. But if you want to take a couple of your RAWs and convert them the exact same way your camera would, it's like really awesome in that sense because you can do it quick and easy. Chat isn't updating. Yep, it never does. You know what it might be? It might be because I am not on the internet again for whatever weird reason. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. I keep like no websites will load right now. But it was working earlier. Yeah, and now it's back. I don't understand. I don't understand. It is what it is. It is what it is. Yo, Apple going hard with this the new iPhone. They keep emailing me like, upgrade. Don't you want to upgrade? I'm like, I'm good. It's okay, I'm good. Do you do some masking, Photoshop on the final banger shots? Not really. I just kind of leave them the way they are. If the edit's good and the light looks good, and I'm pretty much fine with it. I don't need any like. I used to like when I used to edit, I used to go in and skin smooth and all. It just takes forever. So I was just like, I'm not gonna sit here and waste all my time on like changes that are so tiny that like most people aren't even gonna care. Let's see what Otto wants. Nah, it's too warm. I need to actually. Is my iPad working now? Does it want to work? Let's see. For whatever reason, since I can't do anything. Yeah, cause see, there goes the music because it keeps falling in and out of the internet for whatever weird reason. It looks like my iPad is also having issues. So I'm not even sure what the issue is. Yep. Oh no, cancel. Aren't one of these edited? It's this one. I don't know if that's gonna work though. Too much orange. These close-ups I always like in black and white. Yeah, this is the worst. I thought it was my computer, but I guess it's the internet overall because my iPad's also not connecting either. That's stupid. I don't know what the issue is. Just did a wedding and your wedding videos really helped me. Awesome. Yes. So weird. It keeps coming in and out. I can't see Spectrum. Spectrum internet is the absolute worst. It's so stupid. Okay, so these were also with the 23. So we'll just go ahead and sync those shots up. I wonder if they're throttling me. I was trying to back up my NAS the other day. And I mean, it has like terabytes of stuff on it, so they may be throttling me down or something at this point. Let's see. So yeah, since these were the same scene and the same lighting, they should be pretty good overall. Just gotta go through and make sure they look okay. Spectrum is incarnation. It's really the worst. I don't understand how they even function. I was at a Walmart one time, and there was like a Spectrum rep in there, and they're like, "Hey, you got internet?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You?" And I was like, "Bro, I have Spectrum, and it's the worst." And I was like trying not to be mean, but I was just like, "I'm sorry, y'all. Your stuff is bad. I'm sorry." Love your videos, John. Really love your view and perspective. Specific touch with photography. What is your drive and how do you find your style in photography? As far as style, and also thank you for that sub. As far as style and what pushes me, so again, I always hate people ask me like, what made you get into photography and like it pretty much was money. But mainly it was because I needed to provide for my family. Again, if you haven't heard my story or listened to it at all, basically I was working at Squarespace at the time. I kind of dabbled in photography but wasn't taking it seriously. Me and my wife got pregnant with our first child and she wanted to stay home with the kids, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But I'll probably need a second job to like help out. And she was basically like, no, you should start a business. So that's when I started taking photography way more seriously. And yeah, and I just got into the business that way. I trained for like a year because I already kind of had a natural talent for it. Trained for a year, and yeah, here I am today. Still to this day, you know, I'm the sole income provider of the household. My wife still stays at home. We have 3 kids. And yeah, it's a lot of work. But yeah, I always love art and creating art. And I majored in music production and sound design. That's kind of like my thing is art in general. You know, I draw a little bit, just art in general is my jam. So I've been very lucky to be, naturally talented with photography and that I could turn it into a business. And then, yeah, I basically, while I was at Squarespace for like 4 years, I worked on building my portfolio and getting work and getting experience. So all while I was at Squarespace, I was also building my portfolio and all that stuff. So it was a lot of work, and that's one thing that I can really say to all of you all. If you're trying to start in photography, just realize it is a grind up front, and you do have to put in the work. Like, I didn't just like start doing this and was like, wow. Like, for 4 years I had a day job, and I would do weddings on the weekend, and I would edit during the week, and then I would go to my day job every day. And I did that for 4 years before I even went full-time wedding photography. And I've only been doing wedding photography now for like 7 years. So, like, y'all are actually seeing me like in the middle of my story, because just 2 to 3 years ago I quit Squarespace, and that's when I went full-time, because the whole thing was me and my wife wanted to move. And then basically at that point, it was just like, well, if you move away from New York, you have to quit Squarespace. And so we were like, well, let's just go ahead and do it and see how it works. At that point, I was pretty much like, I'm pretty good at photography. I would be surprised if I failed. So let's go ahead and take the risk. Just quit the job with nothing else lined up and just see how it works. And that's how I went full-time. I literally just quit my job and was like, okay, here we go. And luckily it all worked out. So yeah, that's a long answer, I guess, to your question. My ex-brother-in-law works for them, and I give them business all the time. Nice. Right now, photography is also supporting me and my wife. Earlier this year, she went blind and deaf. Oh no. So she needs to take me to take care of her 2 little girls. I'm glad it sounds like it's working out for you. I hope that's going smoothly. That is not a fun story whatsoever. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everyone is doing well. Here come these flat lays. I'm so sad I keep losing the internet. It makes no sense. But yeah, I thought it was just my computer, but it's across the board. Like, my iPad's having a hard time getting on the internet, so I wonder if I connected my Wi-Fi to my iPhone's tethering, if the streaming would still pull from the Ethernet port mainly. Like, how does the computer decide? Oh, I turned off the Wi-Fi. Let's see, actually. Like, can the computer just use both connections at the same time and be cool with it? Thank you for the sub. Does it even see Wi-Fi 3? I don't even know what that is. No, it doesn't see it. Yeah, no, it doesn't see it. Show available networks. Oh, there it goes. Boom. Connect. Okay. Is that going to break my stream? Is it going to use all my data on my phone? Oh, there it goes. iTunes is like, hold up, I found it. Yeah, yeah. Do I still use my iPad Pro? I do. You can, y'all can't see it. Oh yeah, you kind of can. See it in the face right here. It's right here hanging out with me. It's my most favorite. Again, with the iPad, I mainly only edit on it when I'm away from my computer. So I don't really do it at home. It's for travel. It replaces my laptop, basically. So instead of having a laptop, I use the iPad Pro and I sync the photos over to it and do it that way. Oh, actually, let's not do these two. Is this 23? Oh yeah, I was like, there's no way that's 23. So I'm hoping my stream is not using my iPhone. And it's just using it for like the other stuff, but we'll see. Do you know any site where I can get the XT30 for a good sale? Also, could it get a sweet deal during Black Friday? I am not sure. I usually buy most of my used stuff from B&H. Oh, I didn't even, how stupid. Wait, what did I do? I picked the wrong photo to sync. Good job. Just follow you on Instagram. Thank you so much. White balance is like totally different here. I hate when clouds come through and just like totally change the lighting. Crop that hand out. KEH also has decent sale. Yeah, they're pretty good. I used to actually, when I lived in New York, I used to go hang out there all the time. Cool place. Need help ASAP. I booked my first wedding gig in January. She's asking about the price. I'm an amateur. This is my first real paying gig. So wait, you booked it before they paid? So the biggest thing I can say is just don't charge too much because of your inexperience. Also, make sure that they understand that you're new and inexperienced. Like, honestly, just charge a couple $100. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone tell you like, you need to charge the same market value as every. No, you're new. You don't have the experience. Like, don't charge too much. Like, really don't. Oh my god, this green. Oh, what did I do? Look at it. Look at it bouncing off the walls. Everything's green. But yeah, I would say just pick a nice hourly number and base it off of that. Oh my goodness, the white balance. Why did I choose a green room? Did you shadow before you started your own gigs? I did not. And it's a toss up. Like, it can either be good or bad. Seconding first is definitely a better choice, because basically what happened with me is I was shooting weddings by myself for like 2 years, until I met my mentor, and he definitely made a big difference in how I approach weddings and everything. And I started seconding more, and I still second today too. That's one thing to remember. Seconding isn't only just for gaining experience. Seconding is a great way to meet other photographers in your area and build a network of people who can help each other. You know, there's no point in worrying so much about actual competition, because again, and I say it all the time, there's like thousands of people who live here in America. There's thousands of people who get married. There's thousands of people who get divorced and remarried. There's always people getting married. So like, there's work. Don't ever be like, oh, there's too many photographers and everything's oversaturated. I'm never gonna get. No. There's mad people getting married. It's more so of finding your niche and finding your market and marketing yourself well so that they find you and you get enough work to be able to feed yourself and feed your family. That's the point. That whole mentality of like competition and someone's gonna take all my work, that's on some Jeff Bezos thinking, you know what I'm saying? Where like you're gonna take all the work for yourself, basically. It's not gonna happen. That's not good. That's not how it should work. So, yeah, like everyone's gonna do stuff. So seconding first definitely is the best and safest way. Again, I got burned early on in my career, and luckily it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But yeah, I didn't start seconding. I kind of just did stuff by myself. I kind of showed y'all before, but on my website, if you really go digging down in like my more weddings, you can pretty much see my whole progression and literally my first weddings. All this stuff is moving mad slow because it's coming off of my phone right now, but let me show y'all. I'll give you a little history lesson. Agreed. Always enough room for everyone to grow. Yeah, exactly. You should always be helping others out. And I second. Still to this day, I second. If someone needs support, if someone needs help, I just like meeting people too. Like meeting other photographers, and it's just good. I photographed one wedding before, but really struggled with the editing and having a style that was consistent through the set of photos. Any tips? The main tip is don't use 50 different like presets. I see a lot of photographers do that. They like make a preset for a specific wedding. I don't think that works. Like, get the colors and things, make your own preset and work them in a way that works for you and that you like, and then edit everything like that. Don't be switching it up from it. Don't do that, because then you won't have a consistent look on your website. Is wedding photography the best way to start regardless of niche, especially small weddings? I mainly do street, travel, and nature. I mean, it depends on what you want to do, because when I started, I shot nearly everything, and I ended up on wedding because, I don't know, it just worked for me. I liked it. I like working with people. Wedding photography is very heavy customer service. Like, it's basically customer service with a little dash of, with a little pinch of salt of photography. So here comes the history lesson. Let's take y'all back. So this was my first wedding. I talked about this in one of my last streams. So this first wedding, I got it off of Thumbtack. If you're not familiar with the service, it's a cool little service where basically people or their users come to the site and say, hey, I need photography. and then you as a photographer can bid on that and be like, hey, I do photography, and then you pay to bid to talk to them, and then if they like you, they book you, and you go from there. Sometimes it costs a little bit too much, but it was a decent place to start, especially when I started. So I got this wedding off of Thumbtack. I was supposed to only do some reception coverage because they got married in Central Park, and Central Park provided a photographer. But I showed up early, which is what I always do. I've been doing it from the beginning. That's a tip for y'all starting out. Show up early. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Don't be like, well, I'm not getting paid for this hour. No. Like, you will gain way more by showing up early than you will getting paid an extra $50 for 1 hour. I show up early, and the planner thought I was supposed to go to the ceremony. So she's like, oh yeah, you're going over to Central Park? And I was like, oh, I guess so. So I go. And, you know, it's my first wedding, so I'm strapped up. I got my money maker. I got my 2 cameras. I got my whole gear. And the Central Park hired photographer shows up, and he's just like old, and he doesn't care. And he has one little camera, and he's like, okay, I'm going to take some pictures. No offense to anybody, but he just was like, let me do the job. And he saw me, and he probably already got paid too. So he sees me with all this stuff on, and he's like, yo, go ahead and do your thing then. And he just leaves. So I was able to shoot the ceremony. I also did their couple portraits, and then I did some reception time. And that was it. Very straightforward. Easy wedding. A great first wedding. There wasn't much going on. There wasn't a lot of details. They were really low-key. They were literally like, we just want someone here to take photos. If y'all can find weddings like that, and there's going to be a lot more of that now in 2020 and 2021 probably. There's a lot more of that. So anyone starting out, find those weddings. Seriously. Those little, small, like, we just want someone with a camera. Charge them $500. That's actually what this wedding was, $500. Couple of hours. Do it. Great way to start. Easy wedding. Low risk. You know, like, I could handle it. I had shot enough and I understood my camera enough that I could handle it. So that was my first wedding. My second wedding was a friend of my wife's. So I ended up doing this one for free. I needed more portfolio building stuff anyway. She was a friend of my wife's. They were pretty close. And it was another low-key, like, we just want someone to take photos. So I was like, I'll do it for free. Again, don't ever be afraid to do things for free. You just have to know what and why you're doing it. Don't let someone come to you like, can you do this for free? Don't do that. And that's when I started photography. That was one of the things that I promised myself. I was like, I'm not working for free. Even if someone pays me like $50 and that's it, I'm just not going to work for free unless it's something I choose to do. So that's another tip I'd give any of you all. So yeah, my second wedding was the same thing. Very low-key, straightforward. Look at that Dutch tilt. Oh, God, it's so bad. Oh, I hate the tilt so much. But yeah, low-key wedding, very simple, very straightforward. Just, we want someone to show up and take some photos. And so I did it. Got some detail shots. It was cool. Great. Great job. My next wedding after that, and literally on my website, this is like in order. This is another wedding I got off of Thumbtack. This one was when I started making a little bit more money off of it. I got like not a couple thousand, maybe like $1,000, $1,200 or something. Brooklyn wedding, cute couple. They were cool people. You know, again, this was more detailed. It was more of a full wedding day. But at this point, I've shot enough that like I could handle it. Now, the biggest thing I would say that was different though, of how I shot back then from how I do now, and especially because I didn't second and I didn't have like a mentor or someone show me stuff, is I was just kind of taking pictures as things happened. I didn't really control the wedding day. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a timeline. It was very much just like, okay, let's take some pictures of the day. And in my opinion, that's not the best way to handle a wedding day, because if stuff falls apart, it'll just fall all the way apart. Whereas if you have control over it and a plan, then at least when stuff falls apart, you're like, well, this is what it should have been, and we can just like shift a little bit. rather than it falling apart and you being like, I don't know what to do. I had no plan in the first place. So yeah, this was like my third wedding. This was my absolute favorite shot from this wedding. I don't know why. I just loved it so much. That and there's a shot of their feet when they're on the carousel. Yeah, this one. I loved it so much. So yeah, this was a cool wedding. Pretty dark. I was using flash. I don't know how. I just lucked out at getting decent flash shots because I literally didn't know what I was doing back then. I guess technically you can count this as my fourth wedding, but it was just like a little elopement in Central Park. So that was also, and that's what I'm saying. When you start out, if you're not seconding, take extremely low level weddings where it's literally like, hey, it's us and 10 people and we just need someone to take photos and we're going to do it in a park and it's going to be a short thing. Like, do that. And again, as starting wedding photographers, the end of 2020 and probably at least halfway into 2021, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of weddings like that. So it's a great place to start and get some experience without having to second. Because another part of this whole story, right? After I had shot like these first two weddings, I did an engagement session, which is this is just weddings. Let me see if I can, if I take this out, will it show me the whole thing? Yeah. Let me see if it's in order. I pretty much put most of my sessions that are on here and it's all in real life order. Oh no, this was before. Yeah, so wow, it was before. I can't believe so this engagement session, right? When I was on Thumbtack, I was basically only getting engagement sessions. They were the easiest to secure. They were the most low level. So it was also another great way to practice taking pictures, taking portraits and stuff. So I did the engagement session of this couple and they just loved me for whatever reason. They also were probably smart because they could tell that I was new, so I was going to be cheaper. So the bride kept grilling me through the whole session of like, do you shoot weddings? Have you shot weddings? Da da da. And I pretty much told her like, no, I don't really shoot weddings. Like, I'm new to weddings. I don't really shoot them. I've never really said, I like straight up told her. And by the end of the session, she was pretty much like, I want you to shoot our wedding. So I booked them a year out and then I was like stressed because I was like, oh goodness, now I have to shoot my first real wedding. So in the time, that first year before their wedding, I gained basically all the experience I needed to do their wedding. So I did the engagement. Here's my first wedding, the free wedding, some more sessions. Here's another. There was that low-key wedding in Brooklyn. It was more of a full wedding. Did an elopement. Here's another. It's more of an engagement shoot, but it's kind of like wedding. And this was another little wedding. I seconded here. More engagement sessions. And then I finally got to their wedding. But by the time I got to their wedding, I felt way more comfortable. Yeah. And I like felt like I at least was a wedding photographer and I knew what I was doing. So, but yeah, I never really seconded. I just kind of jumped in and started doing it. But that's why even in this, you don't see flat lay shots. I used to not make that a thing. Like, I didn't have a process. I just kind of was taking pictures. So obviously everyone was happy with the work. And, you know, I was taking decent photos, but I really wasn't controlling the day or anything. I was just kind of showing up. Hey, look, it's me. First wedding, would you need a second body? I wouldn't mind swapping 35 to 85 if I can. I'll lose some shots for sure. Yeah. I would say if you're shooting primes, definitely two bodies. Don't shoot with primes in a single body. Don't do it. Wedding days move too fast for it's too much. But if you have a zoom lens, you can do a single body and have like a backup or something. But yeah, I started out not seconding. I like I said again, I didn't get to a place where I was actually seconding or getting taught or mentored until I was already like 3 years into doing it. And, you know, that's not necessarily the best. Like, it really isn't. Uh-oh. Did I lose everything? Are we still, we're still here? Okay. Yeah, this white balance is the worst. I don't know why I picked this green room. I don't know what possessed me to do such a thing. This green room will be great. Good job, bro. $24 to $70, 2.8 is my go-to for weddings, and an 85 is backup. Yeah, exactly. If you're on a single camera, that's the best way. Green. Why did I do such a thing? Like, really? All the photos are gonna be black and white. What zoom lens would you recommend for weddings? I have a Nikon 1855, 7300, 35. I mean, pretty much anything, as long as it's a fast, like 24 to 70 would be good. I haven't really shot with Nikon, so I don't know specific lenses or anything, but a good 24 to 70, you're good to go. Getting high quality presets or making your own is good to keep style consistency. Yes, I agree. Personally, I love the film emulation of Mastin Labs. I started out using Mastin Labs. All the stuff you saw that I was showing before, all the old stuff, that was all Mastin Labs. They are a great place to start. If you don't know where to go and you want to get like a more consistent look, they are an absolutely great place to start. We got Indonesia in the house. Hello, welcome. How do you feel about speed boosters? You know, I've never used one. I've used extension tubes before to help me get like macro shots, but I've never used a speed booster. Bang, bang, bang in the game. I just barely caught this shot. We were like going out to set up for the first look, and I had the 16 mil on me, and a friend of his came up, and I was like, oh snap, and we just barely caught it. Okay, so all these 23 shots I should be able to sync over from this one. The Z-mount 24 to 70 is good as having a couple primes. Nice. Yo, y'all, I'm blown. Y'all about to see me edit a whole little wedding. Because, I mean, this thing is only 300 photos. That's not, like, it's not a lot. Oh, I think I can sync this one over, too. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I'm up and coming black and white photographer on Instagram. How do you think about black and white photography? I like it. It's good stuff. What's nice too is it's just very like based on the light. It's very focused on the light. And you have like so much more of a range to play around with just the light. rather than worrying so much about how things look and stuff like that. Yep, and then I can cull this down a little bit. And then these are all with the 50F1, so we can sync them up. Question: have you ever shot film? If so, what's your favorite color in black and white film? So I'm still getting used to shooting film. I do shoot it. I shoot it off. I actually, here's some finished rolls I just did. So here's a couple of rolls I just finished up. I put the little X on them to let me know that they're done. I haven't shot enough, but I do know the Ilford stuff on the black and white side is probably my favorite. Or like HP5 or something. But again, I don't shoot it enough. So I just now started shooting more Fujifilm film stocks. And the last time I shot it, I loved the results of it. But again, I'm still so new to film that I can't necessarily just straight up be like, this is my favorite. But yeah, that's about where I sit. Ilford stuff. I do shoot a lot of Tri-X. And yeah, I have a couple rolls of Fuji that I need to blow through. I found some expired Fuji stuff too. So yeah, I have a couple rolls of the Pro 400H. And I've only shot it once, but I did like the results I got from it. And then got some good old Fuji Superior. Where's my expired stuff? Oh yeah, here it goes. I guess this is Superior and they changed the name. This Super HD, this stuff is old. When did it expire? It expired in 2000. 36 shots. So I'm gonna wait for an actual session to shoot this, since it's expired film. This is also the same stuff, so we can sync. Oh, the lighting changed. I guess we can't sync it. Actually, these are basic. I'm gonna make this one black and white. I think I might reset this one too. I don't like where the colors are. It's like not warm enough or something, but on the same end, the oranges are like weird. I have to go. See you later. Thanks for hanging out on the stream. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. Yeah, I think I can sync these. I use the Good Light film preset, but so hard to use for Indonesian skin. Yeah, there's a lot of presets don't do very well with like brown skins. They really just, they don't, unfortunately. That's actually, let's see if that will sync across the rest of them. Maybe I'll warm it up a tad. Yeah. Now I could match total exposures, but I don't think I'm going to. What's a good site to print albums? So if you want the cheap option that's pretty good, I'd say Artifact Uprising. I've always been a big fan of their stuff, and it's great as the cheaper options. If you want something more high quality, I've been using Red Tree albums, and their stuff is nice. The cool thing about Red Tree as well is that they're for photographers. Like, they're for working photographers. So you have to prove to them that you're a working photographer. You have to have a website. You have to have a business established. Like, you have to have all that stuff for them to actually sell you stuff. So consumers can't just buy their stuff. Whereas Artifact, you know, like, anybody can buy that stuff. So yeah, Red Tree is a bit pricey, but I would say it's more so quality, not, oh, it's mad expensive. Like, their stuff is nice. It comes in a nice box. It comes all protected. It's nice. There's a lot of nice options. You have all these cool linen options. It's good stuff. You got leather options. Like, they're really good. Do you include products as part of your pricing? I do. I've been wrestling with that. Like, sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't. But basically, at this point, I just include it. So, like, I'll include an album, and it's a certain amount of pages. And then if they want to, they can, you know, add extra pages or something of that sort. Your photography is out of this world. Thank you so much. I try my best. Yeah, that 50 F1 is like, look at that background. So good. Maybe I can. Yeah. So. Thanks for the information. No problem. What are some of your I have to have these accessories for weddings? We can talk about that real quick. So the biggest have to haves for me. The biggest have to haves. I don't know why this thing can't focus on me. Come on, Fuji. So the first biggest have to have, absolutely have to have, especially if you're shooting with prime lenses, is the Hold Fast Moneymaker. This is the double strap you see me using. At this point, after getting used to using this thing, I cannot shoot a wedding without it. Literally. Like, it's a struggle. I actually forgot it one time, and it was a struggle. So, especially if you're using prime lenses and you need two cameras, the Hold Fast Moneymaker is, like, hands down the only way to go. So, this is my first must-have, is the Hold Fast Gear Moneymaker. And again, I can link to that for y'all if you want to check it out, or if you're not familiar with it. Where's my link for that thing? Here it is. So that's the first must-have. The second must-have is the little bag I use, which is the Hold Fast Gear Sightseer. So I love this thing. It's awesome. It's a little bag. I wear it on the back of my Moneymaker, and basically I can put two flashes in it. I can put my flash modifiers in it, so I have my little mag mod spheres in there. And I usually put an extra lens. So I usually put my tele lens in there. I can put batteries in the little compartment on the back. So I got like batteries. I got like extra SD cards. I got like a wipe for my lenses. And all that is on me. It's like on me. So instead of having a bag that you leave somewhere on the side and you're like waiting for it and you don't know where it is and you're scared someone might steal your stuff, this stuff is on me. And during the day, if something goes down, or if at some point I need to like pull a flash out because the lighting all of a sudden it changes, or we're like indoors and something happens, I can just real quick like bloop bloop, put it on my thing, boom boom. So this is my second must have. Second from that, I guess the third must have are those Magmod spheres you saw for your flashes. Those are also must haves. They make using flash like so much easier, and they're great in pretty much any situation. So those are three must haves to start you out. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else that's huge. Obviously, everything else is like pretty straightforward, like flashes and SD cards, extra batteries. But that's pretty straightforward in my opinion. Like that, you should know that stuff. I hope that answered your questions a bit. I think I'm a black and white this one. Okay, y'all, let's see if Lightroom can do it. Ta-da! Yeah, that worked. Great job, Lightroom. You did it. Yay! Hold on. There's something. It's like not warm enough or something. Yeah, their skin was looking kind of. Skin was looking kind of questionable. How do you direct your clients to pose? So I have a video that I'm gonna try and put out at some point. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. It's a whole behind the scenes session, and I leave a lot of the audio in there so you can actually hear me as I pose. But a lot of times I'm very straightforward. And again, I have already vetted my couples at this point. So I know what kind of people they are and how they're going to work with me. And then I like to do what I call natural posing, where basically instead of being so precise about how everything is, which can make people feel like, am I doing it right? Am I standing? I more so find the good light and a good spacing, and then I tell them to interact with each other, and I tell them what to do basically and how to stand and where to stand. But that's it. Other than that, I let them do the rest of it. So I try not to direct too much, basically, is what I'm saying. Outside of if anything catches my eye and doesn't look good, then obviously I'm gonna like bring that up and say something to somebody. But for the most part, I'm just like, stand like this. And I have my go-to poses that I do pretty regularly. And, after a while of shooting, you're just gonna start developing your own go-to poses. Whenever people whenever people see my camera, they give me a big cheesy smile. So that's like, if you've seen my full wedding day videos, like I have a little spiel that I give everybody where I basically tell them not to do that. And I make sure everybody, like all the main wedding guests, like the bridal party, and the parents, is like, I tell them that, Like before we start shooting photos, I'm like, this is how I like to shoot. I don't want you to be stopping and posing and oh, a camera. Like I don't want that. And I tell them that. So like by telling them that, then for the rest of the day, I don't get a lot of people just stopping and be like, there's a camera, geez. Like, because I'm like, please stop, you know? I need to start working in my field. What is your field of work, or I guess study? What did you study? I love your full day wedding videos. Thank you so much. I'm hoping to make more. Obviously weddings have been very different, so that's why y'all haven't seen much more of them recently, because it's obviously, yeah. You know, like, this year has been a whole whatever. So oh my goodness, this lighting was the absolute worst. The absolute worst. That's the worst part about beach weddings. It's either a clear day or it's cloudy. And when you get a clear day, it's just like the sun blasting down on everything. 2020 is bad for a lot of things. Yep. Exactly. I'm a video student, and doing work like this is what I'm all about. So good for you for pulling through and making ends meet. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And again, like I said, I'm the sole provider of like 5 people. So like, it's not easy, but I'm making it work. Thank you for that sub. Okay, let's see. So that's 23. This is 23. This is 23. Let's sync these all together. Good evening from Germany. Hello. Welcome. Good evening. I hope you've had a great day. We're just editing some photos. I culled it earlier. Now I'm editing. I'm actually making pretty good timing on this. So I tend to not stream this long, but I'm like in the zone now. So, or what do they call it? Flow. So while I'm over here, thank you for that sub. While I'm over here flowing away, we're just gonna get it in, because I need to finish this wedding anyway. How fast did you cull a wedding? So I culled this one probably in the first 30 minutes of the stream. Now, mind you, again, this is like a shorter, smaller wedding, so I didn't have that much to cull. I culled out about 300 photos, but I can cull something in like a full wedding, like 5,000 to 7,000 photos. I can cull that in like an hour. Culling shouldn't be like a long process most of the time. Thank you for the sub. My dad did a wedding in the Tenons for a friend in the middle of the summer. All the photos are the harshest light until the reset. Yeah, it's the worst. And the biggest thing is like, again, with being able to vet your couples and stuff, you have to make sure that they really understand who you are and your approach, and they trust you. So again, on this wedding day, instead of them arguing with me about how like they had to get pictures on the beach with the family and everybody in front of the water and all that stuff, when I was telling them like the light was bad, they were like, okay, John, that's cool. Where should we do our family photos? And that's what you want from your couples. You don't want people who just expect you to take photos exactly how they want them with like no understanding of light at all. You know, so when you're like, hey, it's like, you know, a totally bright sunny day and you're gonna be out there squinting and it's gonna look horrible and the lighting's gonna be all crazy, and they're like, I don't care, I want beach photo. Like you don't want clients like that. Unless you're prepared to come out there with like, you know, a whole strobe system and fight the sun. People still gonna be squinting, but you know, you do what you can. But yeah, like even these photos, like this is so rough. Lightroom, why? Montreal in the house. Hello, welcome. These are all the same scene. But yeah, as a wedding photographer too, like this is what I would consider good editing. Like you should be able to throw down a wedding in a couple of hours. Like it shouldn't take you 50 years to edit a wedding. And you shouldn't want it to take that long either. Like what fun is sitting around editing photos for 50 years, you know? Thank you for the sub. Gotta go. I babysit and she's awake. Oh, I know that life because I have 3 kids. So thank you for hanging out in the stream. Hope you have a good day. What is your thoughts, opinion on the XS10? I think it looks like an awesome camera. I have not gotten to use one yet, but I really want to try it out. And honestly, I've thought about replacing my XT30 with the XS10, mainly because it has IBIS and it would give me a spare camera for video. I think where it mainly shines is video. Again, it looks like a really good video camera. Oh dang. But yeah, I think it really shines as a video camera. Also, as just a starting camera in general too. It looks really awesome. Do your clients agree to their photos going on YouTube? Yes, they do. Basically, that's a part of the contract. So in my contract, that stuff is basically all a part of me being able to use the photos for advertising and things of that sort. Now, for my full wedding day videos, I usually also ask my couple if they're okay with me filming their wedding. I don't ever just do it because I'm like, well, you signed the contract and it's per the contract. That's a little much. But yeah, full wedding days, I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna come and record some of your wedding, and they'll be like, oh yeah, cool. It's like the XT4 and XH1 had a baby. It really is. It's like a little mini XH1 basically. Acts like in yeah. I say words weird sometimes. Ask, axe, ask. The 50 F1, it's so good. That's most of these shots you're seeing is the 50 F1. These group shots I stopped down to F2. Obviously F1 is a bit ridiculous for group shots. Like Don't shoot a group shot at F1. Just that's the tip for the day. Awesome work. Very glad I found your channel. We'll be tuning in. Thank you so much. Your content is awesome. Thanks for being so thorough. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. I'll black and white this one too. Yeah, F2. Yeah, group shots at F2. Let's go. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are saying that the 50 F1 is soft, but like you've seen my videos and I always say it's sharp. I think for me it's based off of at F1 it's sharp for F1. It doesn't feel soft to me. Like compared to the 56 1.2, like it's just so much sharper wide open. Do you ever shoot in aperture priority? Not anymore, but that is how I started. So as a new photographer, getting used to light and seeing light on also a wedding day it's a lot, because there's a lot of variables and things you're thinking about. There's just a lot going on, you know. Like one moment you're like, okay, I'm in a new place, you know, and it looks different and the light changed and now I need to get pictures of these people and now I need to do this and oh, what's happening? It's a lot. And when I started, I couldn't handle doing manual and also keeping up with a wedding day. So back then I shot aperture priority because it's the easiest, because you control most of it by your aperture. But what started happening is that sometimes shots would come out weird because aperture priority would just like choose something random that didn't work. So that's when I started moving over to shooting in manual. So all this is all manual. Like I'm deciding everything. So you edit your first photo. I know the rest of these are shot with the 50. So I'm just going to select the whole thing except for this photo. I'm just going to sync that over. And then I go through and check all the rest of the photos to make sure that they look good. Came across your channel a few days ago, watched 2 wedding videos, and you explained everything well. Thank you so much. I think it's just lens dependent that F1 is, yeah. Do you have any nightmare stories about working with egotistical amateurs? No, but I have a pet peeve. Sometimes I have second photographers who like try to take the lead too much, and that irks me. It like pushes my buttons. I'm not a fan at all. But yeah, luckily I haven't had anything crazy happen. In which resolution do you publish your pictures? Because of the big brighten effect, the picture could perhaps have noising. No. So most of the time I don't know if I understand the question. But a lot of times I don't have that much noise. I add grain to my photos because I kind of like a film-esque look. But yeah, when I'm in Lightroom, I don't sharpen my photos. And I don't add grain or anything to the photos in Lightroom. The song is weird. So what if the couple do not want their photos to be public? I feel like that is going to be an issue here in Denmark, as I want to respect their privacy. So usually if a couple doesn't want their photos public at all, they'll say something to me. Because again, on the contract, so I meet my couples in person or on Zoom, and I've been doing that before, you know, our current situation. So now it's just a lot more Zoom. I meet them in person, we talk, blah, blah, blah. I send them the proposal, which has the contract and the pricing. they look at the contract and proposal, and if they're like, you know, people who actually read the contract, then they're gonna see that like I can do basically whatever I want to with the photos. And if they don't want that, they'll tell me. Sometimes they'll even tell me that when we're meeting. I haven't done it recently, but going forward, I'm pretty much going to be charging extra for anyone who's like, you can't use my photos for anything, because as a photographer, that like stunts me being able to market myself, because it's like a whole wedding that I just can't do anything with. So I'm not going to charge a lot, just a little bit. But yeah, if a couple doesn't want their photos shown, then I add it to the contract that like, unless I get explicit, you know, say from them, then I'm not going to show their photos. And I have like 1 or 2 weddings, even in this here, that I'm just not going to show. And that's fine, you know. I have no problem with that. But again, like I can't do that all the time, because then I'd have nothing in my portfolio. So what do you do to get that lovely green in all your photos? I went through and basically spent time with the HSL and desaturated the greens and stuff like that. Charge more, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, like I don't get anything from the wedding if I can't use the photos. Worst experience working with a couple. I've told the story a couple times. I don't like reliving the story. I had what I like to call a post bridezilla, like post wedding bridezilla. So the wedding day itself was fine. But after the wedding, like once I delivered the photos, you know, she just said she hated everything and she didn't like any of the like edits, which again, like, you know, I edit in my style. I was broken up because at the time that was literally one of my best weddings I had shot. So I was pretty distraught that basically she was like, everything sucks. So after a long negotiation, I ended up giving them all the photos from the wedding in JPEG, unedited, like every photo, and also a small refund. So I did all of that and was basically like, okay. After that, like a month or so passed and she was trying to print the photos and they were coming out crappy. And like, obviously I don't know what they're doing. There's all kinds of things you can do to ruin printing a photo. Like you can't just print a picture. You have to know the DPI and the size. So, you know, I was like, you know, how are you printing it? What can you do? Da 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 da. And I was like, I can't help because I don't know what's happening. And then after that, she started doing chargebacks on her credit card. So she was literally stealing her money back, even though I fulfilled everything per contract. And it was also like one of my best weddings of the time. So it's not like it was bad work. Like it was good. It was my best work. So yeah, that happened. She stole back half her money. And I was like, bro, stop or we're going to go to court. I ended up not taking her to court. I just kind of dealt with it. I learned a lot of lessons. And that was early on. So if y'all were here earlier when I was talking about how I didn't second shoot when I started weddings, that was the thing that burned me hard. And I learned a lot of lessons from it the hard way. Now I vet my couples. I'm okay with telling a couple we're probably not the best fit for each other. And again, that's not a bad thing because at the end of the day with that story, I don't know what the deal was. I just don't. It was a weird situation. I don't know if they were just trying to get wedding photography for like as cheap as they can. I don't know what that was. But at the end of the day, me and the couple, or specifically the bride, were not on the same page. And I tell that to my couples now. I'm like, if you don't absolutely like my work, If there's something about it that just doesn't rub you the right way, don't work with me, because we'll end up in that same situation. Because not only did she do chargebacks, but she left 1-star reviews for me everywhere on the internet. Anywhere she could find me, she left a 1-star review. And it was the worst. Luckily, it didn't hurt me. And most of the time, like, any of my newer couples who saw it, they were like, there's no way, because, you know, your photos are great. So I don't know what her issue was. So it was fine. But yeah, it was rough to deal with. Did you dispute the chargebacks? I did, and I lost. And that's a big thing to remember, y'all. Banks always side harder with the consumer. Banks do not care about the business at all, because basically the way they see it, the business is at a better advantage anyway. So most of the time, if you have to dispute something, they're going to lean more on the customer side of things. So, you know, it was the worst. It happened. But now, like, I'm much more confident in my client meetings, and I can tell when there's certain things that couples say about stuff that I know, like, we're not going to be a good fit for each other. And because of that, I've, like, now for the last, like, 4 years, have never had any issues. It was the worst. It was the absolute worst. Oh, Tim. Yeah, Tim's in the house. So yeah, Tim worked with me at Squarespace, so he remembers when I went through that. It was the worst. Oh God, it was the worst. I was so mad too, because I was so happy with the wedding. I like edited the photos and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Actually, my good friend, another John, he second shot with me on the wedding. Like, and I was just like, this is like the best wedding I've done, and nope, sorry. So, you know, whatever. Do you do your taxes yourself? So I have been doing them myself, but this year I'm using Bench. They're a service that will do all your reporting and stuff for you, and they also do your taxes. So this is my first year using them. I've used them in the past, but I still ended up doing my taxes myself. But this time I'm like going all the way with them. So this is their website if you're not familiar with them. What are some things that couples say to let you know that? So things that cue me that a couple, and remind you, these things are specific to me in the way I shoot. And it's going to be different for everyone else. Like, for me, if I have a couple who's like very concerned about getting specific, very, very specific shots that they have to be a certain kind of way, those are couples who aren't going to work with me. Because I don't work like that. I have a very free-flowing style where I just want stuff to be kind of where it is. I want the couple to give me more control. Like, I want them to respect and want my creative input. So if I'm like, let's do this crazy thing and take a cool shot, they're not going to be like, no, I want to take a shot in front of the fountain. You know what I mean? Like, if they really want a shot in front of the fountain and they tell me that, that's fine. And I'll be like, cool, and we'll make it happen. But if it's a couple who's like, I have to have a shot here, and I have to have a shot there, and I have to have this photo here, and we're not going to work together. We're not going to be a good fit for each other, because that's not how I work. And remember, as a photographer, technically, it is better for your couple or your potential couple for you to tell them, you know, that is not the way I work, and I don't think we will be a good fit for each other. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't ever think, oh, I need the money. Don't do it. Do not do it. You'll end up in a situation like I did, and that money now will negate itself because you'll be like, this headache in this situation is not worth the money I was paid. So I'll literally tell a couple, like, I'm not the best fit for you. Let's find you another photographer. So yeah, if they're very specific about shots, if they don't respect my creative outlook on things, if they're not like, we love the way you see photos, because that was the thing with that wedding where they said they didn't like the photo. They were like, oh, all the cropping is like weird on some of the photos. And it's like, what? That's how I shoot. Like, did you go to my website? Why did you hire me? You know, like, let me see, like, you know, like a shot like this or something, they would have said that was weird cropping. And, you know, some people think that's weird cropping, and that's fine. You know, like if you want a shot where like everyone's feet are in the photos all the time, and you know, like it's just like normal standard looking straightforward, that's fine. But that's not how I shoot everything. So, you know, maybe you don't want to work with me. And you know, like, so like, oh, the colors are weird. So like I will tell a couple, like, if you see things in my photos and you don't like it, or you don't like the colors, or you don't like the black and whites and that they're extra grainy, like tell me, and then we probably shouldn't work together, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, what I'm providing is memories for people, and like the best photos that they're gonna like and want to look back at and be happy with. So if you don't like my style, it's okay for me to be like, I'm not the one for you, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have these photos like 40 years later, and I don't want you to look back at your photos like, oh, I didn't like that photographer. So did you shoot an Indian wedding? I've only shot one, and it wasn't even really a traditional Indian wedding, because the bride was Brazilian and Jewish, and then the groom was Indian. So they did 2 days, and one day was like more of a Jewish ceremony, and then the next day was more of an Indian ceremony. But yeah, I haven't done any Indian weddings. I want to do some, but again, with what I was talking about earlier, was show what you want to shoot. I don't have any Indian weddings on my website, so if there was an Indian couple, they're probably not going to book me, because they're like, well, he's never dealt with our types of weddings. So you got me crushing those greens now in my wedding edits. Really enjoying the aesthetic. Really seem to dislike the natural green and yellow. Yeah, I don't. Green is a weird color. Crush the greens. Get them out of here. No one likes green anyway. I've been specializing in hybrid wedding coverage, though. So crushing the greens and yellows in photos is going to pose a challenge for me in the videos. Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, if I was mainly only hybrid shooting, I would pretty much just shoot on a Fuji profile, and that's it, so that my photos would match the video. I'm located in North Carolina. I moved from New York, so I used to be in the New York area. That's actually where I started photography. What do you think of the Viltrox lenses? I actually haven't had a chance to use them, so I don't have any thoughts yet. Some company was trying to send me some Viltrox stuff, but I never had a chance to get it, so I wonder if this will sync over. How has COVID affected my work? So basically, the majority of my weddings got postponed to next year. I had like 20 weddings this year. I think I only did like 10 or 15 maybe. And or it changed a lot of my weddings to be small ceremonies like this that you see me editing here, where it's just like 30 people and that's about it. Also, because I let my couples postpone their weddings to next year without any charges, yeah, I'm not making as much money next year. Actually, a big part of what it changed too is that's why I'm on YouTube now. I was already doing YouTube. I've been doing it for about 2-ish years now, steady. But since, you know, COVID kind of postponed a lot of my weddings, I started focusing more on YouTube, and then YouTube actually started working out better. So now I'm trying to lean more into YouTube. So that's really how it changed a lot of my work, outside of obviously like having to wear masks and stuff at weddings. But ever used any other camera like Canon, Sony, Nikon? Yeah, I started on Canon. My first main camera was a Canon 6D. I used that for 3 years. hold on, let's black and white this photo. At what age did you start to have a passion for photography? It was later, like, I don't know, like 20 something, 18 something. I always thought it was cool. I never really did it though, because I was mainly focusing on music. That's what I majored in. I majored in music production and sound design. I did a lot of music producing and also mixing and stuff. So yeah, I always thought photography was cool, but I just never understood it. So yeah, it wasn't later until life, like literally like in my 20s. And even then I was just kind of like, wow, photography is cool. You know, like I never really even tried to get better or anything. You mentioned your worst story, but has there been a time or multiple occasions where you have turned down a client due to any reason? Maybe they were being rude or you just knew it wasn't going to work. Yeah, it's anytime most of the time I've ever turned down someone, it was mainly just I could tell that they weren't really going to like my style, you know, and I let them know. But it's more rare. When you show on your website what you want to shoot, people can tell. So the people who want a certain look and style, they just won't go for your stuff, you know, and that's kind of the point. How long does it typically take for you to finish editing one wedding set? Generally a couple of hours. It depends on how much other work I have as well, because that can definitely like make a difference. But yeah, just a couple of hours. Like you can see here, I've been streaming for about 3 hours at this point, and I called the wedding already, and I'm like not nearly done, but I'm a good ways done with this wedding right now. If the music producers always get into visual arts. Well, you know, the thing is too, as far as editing goes, like music editing versus video editing, they're like the same. Like the timelines is the same. The way you edit video and audio is basically the same. So it makes kind of sense that a lot of audio producers end up somehow getting into visual arts. I don't know why though. Have you ever been to a wedding where bride and groom said no? Like they said no to something I wanted to do at the wedding as far as like a photo? If we're talking about a couple saying no like during the wedding for a certain shot, I mean, yeah, I've definitely vows. I'm so lost, y'all. I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like at the vows, they like when they say I do and everything, and someone says no. No, I've never had that before. I wouldn't even know what to do at that point. I'd be like, oh, oh no. That would be the worst, actually. Yeah, I've never had, or like, you know how like on TV where it's like you know, forever hold your peace or something, and then someone comes running in like, no, don't marry him, you know that we're still in love. Like I've never had anything like that happen. The real question would be, should I photograph it? Gotta document this moment. Yeah, no, I've never had that happen. That would be the worst. I would hate to see that happen. Where were you doing in the music industry? So I didn't really ever get into the music industry. I did audio post production. So again, I majored in music production and sound design. So I did a lot of sound design and stuff. And for about almost 4 years, I worked when I was in New York doing audio post production for TV shows and commercials. So yeah, I did that for a steady like 3 years, and it was cool. That industry is a little rough. It's hard to like get any movement and stuff, and that's why I ended up kind of leaving it. And then we sync these whole photos. Actually, y'all, did I just finish this wedding? I think I just finished this whole wedding, y'all. Oh no, we got a couple more shots. If drama went down like that, it'd be a sick shot. Couple looks back on their wedding photos and they have a ton of photos of someone storming into the wedding. That'd be the worst. Yeah, I didn't think I would edit this whole thing. Yep, cut the shoes off. I know. I'm not very picky about that. Like, if this was photos for like competition photography and like a print competition or something, I would care a little bit more, but I don't know. I don't think that stuff is that big of a deal. Most of the time no one cares, and I don't know. I don't find it so distracting. I try my best not to, but again, I'd rather get the shot than be so concerned about, oh no, your foot's cut off, I can't take the picture. Miss the moment. I just can't work like that. Wedding photography is definitely a different beast than like portrait photography or fashion photography or anything like that. Good evening. Hello from the Netherlands. Hello. Fights at a wedding. That'd be the worst. Yeah, no, I haven't seen any fights. Most of the time, most of my couples are very chill. They're very cool people. Again, that's why I vet them too. Like, I'd be surprised if something like that happened at one of the weddings I do, because I vet my couples so hard. Most of the time, anytime I have a second photographer, they're always like, wow, your weddings are so like smooth and everyone's just so cool. And I'm like, yeah, because I really make sure that I get the right people and that we vibe with each other. Like. We had an incident in my city a few years ago. Groom gave everyone in wedding an envelope. At the ceremony, he said, I don't. Dang. And now everyone opened the envelope, and there was a photo with cheating bride. Ooh. That is the worst. Oh, and he how you gonna wait until like the actual wedding to like spill the beans on everyone? That's horrible. I just came in. Oh, hey, Christina. But I'm laughing at the compliment. My aunt fake fainted at my parents' wedding to try and delay them getting married. My dad's parents brought their own food for the wow. Do you use for pics during wedding? I see you use the 50. Yep. I've been using the 50 F1 at like real sessions for a while now, and it's stolen my heart. I thought I wouldn't like it. I thought it would be too heavy. It's good. I like it. I like it a lot. Like really, I like it a lot. Thank you for that sub. Because this is mainly about the ring, I'm gonna crop in on it some. And these two should be able to sync up. I just upgraded to the XT3 because of your videos. Yeah, Team Fuji. What's your furthest destination wedding? So I have not been out of the States yet. Basically, I've only worked the East Coast, and I've been pretty much up and down the whole East Coast. I haven't done Boston, which is funny because I went to school in Boston. But yeah, mainly East Coast: Vermont, Connecticut, New York, Florida, Georgia. Just East Coast stuff. See, y'all can do some healing, and you can do it. You can do it in Lightroom. Lightroom's not bad. I'm sticking with my XT2 for a while. It's good. The second photographer I use mainly, she still shoots on this XT2, and it's fine. I think these should be able to sync over too. What is the worst, your least favorite lens you have used for a wedding? I guess it's gonna be the 14 2.8. I don't know. I just don't like it. But there's no real reason. I just don't like it. You know, like I wish I could tell you some real kind of reason. I also have the 16 2.8. I don't mind it, but it also kind of like, I don't know. It doesn't let in enough light, and it's just kind of there. I can't get used to the spot healing in Lightroom. It's weird. I can say that definitely. It like doesn't like anything. Like it really doesn't. It has a mind of its own, but it works sometimes when it wants to. What happened to his photos? Did I not call them? Do you own the 90 f2? What's your longest focal length? It is the 90, and I usually never bring it. The only reason I even bought the 90 is because of when I work in churches, and this started happening down south more than when I was in New York. I could have swore I culled these photos. When I work in churches where they're like, you have to stand in the back of the church and you can't move and you can't go nowhere. When I started working in those churches is when I bought the 90. So that's literally the only reason I use it. I'll ask the couple beforehand if, you know, like if the church has any like weird rules or anything. And then if they're like, oh yeah, the church has like crazy rules, then I'm like, cool, I'll bring my 90. But I don't, it's too long. I don't like its length. It just feels too long to me most of the time. Did I cull these photos? Yo, what happened? Oh, was there a whole section of photos that didn't get culled for whatever reason? Yep, it looks like it. Dang, I thought I was done. Gotti. Few ratings I shot already divorced. Oh no, that's the worst. Then you use the photos and feel bad like, oh. Dang, I thought I was done. The 50 to 140. Yeah, I used that. Fuji loaned it to me one time. It was actually pretty good. I'd never shot with a zoom lens, but I was using it and I was like, okay, I see. Also, the Artisan 735 is great detail shots. Interesting characteristics. But yeah, the 90's good. I just personally don't like it. I don't like shooting that long anymore. That used to be my go-to. I used to get like, when I was on Canon, get the 110 and be in there. Like, I used to love it. But now, I don't know. Like, that 85 focal length is so good to me. All right, y'all. I'm spent, and I still have to record some videos today because I need to stay on top of making videos. So, I think that was good. Now that I've blown out my voice, I'm going to make some videos, and maybe y'all can notice in the videos when my voice is totally blown out. But yeah, I gotta cull the rest of those photos that for some reason didn't get culled, and I'm pretty much done. Yeah, it's gonna be like 300 so photos, but you basically watched my whole process. So 3 hours ish, cull and edit. That's pretty good for a whole wedding. I mean, it's only like 300 photos, so it's like 100 photos in an hour, I guess. Or actually less than that since I culled first, but yeah. Thank you again for hanging out on the channel. Thank you again for watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. And I've talked about it before, and I hope to do it more, but I hope to have more of a stream schedule. And if y'all are interested in something like that, you know, let me know in comments and stuff, and I'll start trying to look at actually having a schedule or something. So again, thanks for hanging out. Hope you learned some stuff. Hope you loved watching my process, and I will catch you all next time. All right. Peace.